Hello, did you know that SMEs contribute 50% to our nation's GDP and SMEs employ 70% of our total country's workforce? However, SMEs die at an alarming rate of 50%. It is for these reasons that we have created the Enterprise Show to discuss issues around SME survival, SME scalability, and SME growth. Are you an entrepreneur? Do you think you are not being heard enough? Follow us on all our social media handles and subscribe to our YouTube channel to be part of the Enterprise Show. I am your host, Kemfon.
Hello guys, welcome to the Enterprise, brought to you by Nexus Studios in partnership with the Akwa Ibom State Enterprise Development Center. How are you guys doing today? I hope you are doing well. On this episode, we would be discussing business registration and corporate governance. Every single thing there is to know about registering your business, starting out your business. So if you have your friends who are startups, SMEs, business people, please point them to this channel right about this time. And today, to help me do justice to our topic, I have a legal practitioner and a business consultant with me, Miss Iboro Akai. Welcome to the Enterprise.
Thank you very much.
Please, how are you doing today?
I'm cold.
You're good today. I hope you're not having issues with the weather. Because I think every other person is coughing and sneezing and shaking. I hope you're not having issues.
Fine.
Oh, okay. So we'll just delve into a discussion. But before we do that, can you give us just a little background of your experience working with SMEs, working with sole proprietors, working with businesses so far? How long have you been doing this?
Okay, I was called to the Nigerian Bar in 2017. And most of my practice, amongst other things, has been, playing advisory role to small businesses, startups, helping them to register with the corporate affairs, just giving them business advice that they need.
Okay. That's fine. So it clearly points to the fact that over the past 3 to 4 years, you have been working closely with SMEs, and that makes you perfectly fit for this discussion. Once again, welcome to the Enterprise. In your years of working with businesses, because I think that I get this question a whole lot, working with the Enterprise Center, why do people need to register their businesses? I mean, why do I need to think of registering my business? I could just start out and just start making my money. Why do I have to go to corporate affairs and do all the registration process? Please, walk us through why we should register.
Okay, I think basically it's important to say the essence of business registration is mostly credibility. So we live in an age where, everything good, anything genuine, there's a counterfeit for it. So imagine that you're trying to sell something to someone and you just mention your name, your personal name to the person. The person may buy it, the person may, patronize you, but I feel that you go a long way if you're using your business name to sell that thing. So that's the importance of business registration. You want to have credibility with your customers, with your clients, and you want to also be in the good books with the regulatory agencies.
Okay. Are there certain sanctions that come with not doing these registrations? Are there certain penalties for people who just start out without having to go through these registrations?
Mm-hmm. Certain sanctions. First of all, we must state that, there are different levels to doing business. And corporate registration, there are different levels to it. So you're either registering as a company, a limited liability company, or you're registering as a business.
Okay.
Yeah, so sole proprietors can register as a business, small business, one-man business, and even when you have partnerships.
Okay.
Then on a large scale, we now talk about limited liability companies where you have more than 1 or 2 people, and then you're talking about shares. You need people to buy into the shares and all of that. So I feel like basically, in a layman's term, The only sanction that it will come is with not registering your business is you not making money. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the age we live in is a technical age. So you stand to be limited if people don't know that you're out there. You've not registered your business. You're just operating on a...
So, but is it possible for me to... So, say I want to sell any kind of good, right? I just talk to my suppliers and they supply it, and I get a shop and I open my shop. I think I'm still going to make money. People are still going to come in and they're still going to buy.
Of course,
right?
you will, but your reach will be limited.
Oh, okay.
Your reach will be limited. I think these things are multifaceted, so you need to be able to use technology and register to put yourself on a good pedestal so that people can see you. So, for instance, if someone wants to pay money to you, and you are sending him your personal account details,
okay,
somebody maybe in the US or, I mean, even in where you live, it's sometimes people are not, they don't see you as credible to send money to your pet. But if they see that you've sent them a business account, they feel freer to, you know, spend money and invest. And they know that, okay, if things turn out sour, they know who they can hold.
They can hold responsible. Okay, so that's fine. What are the requirements for this registration? So I'm starting out, what do I need to have to be able to go through the business registration?
And so if you're registering a business name,
okay,
that is maybe you're a sole proprietor. For example, maybe I bake cakes, and I want to do my business, just me, I don't need anybody. And I don't have enough capital to be talking about shares, you understand?
Yeah.
So you're going to definitely have to register as a business name. That is different from somebody who maybe wants to float his real estate company. You cannot register that as a limited liability, as a business name. You'll be registering as a limited liability company because people are going to come on board.
Yeah.
People need to buy into the shares. You know, you're talking something big.
Yeah.
So there are different requirements for each of them. So let's start with the business name, which is like the easiest, the simplest, the most convenient form. So it's cheaper, and all you need is you need to have two names in mind. You need to be able to check if those names are available for you. What that means is that there may be businesses that already have the name that you're seeking to register it with. So you need to have two names in mind, reserve the name. So you first check for availability of the name. So if CAC tells you this name is available, the name will be reserved. You pay for that service.
Oh.
Yeah, you pay for that service. Yeah. I think it's about 500, and the ad stamp duty is going to be like maybe 700 naira.
Just for the name search?
Name search, reservation,
Okay.
So then you go ahead, and then remember all these things can now be done online. The Corporate Affairs Commission has a registration portal online. You no longer need to go to the Corporate Affairs to do this, like physical visit. You can stay on your phone and do all of this. Oh,
we can stay on our phones? And
yes. You can.
Please tell us clearly, does that mean we don't need lawyers again in this process? I think that's the part we want to hear. Does that mean we don't need lawyers again?
I know people who've registered their business names alone. Yeah. But of course, if you don't want to go through for a business name, the hassles are not much.
Okay.
You can do that yourself. The only thing is, there's a point you get to where I think you need some sort of accreditation number from an agent.
Okay.
And those are mostly lawyers. It's mostly lawyers that are accredited agents.
But can other people also be accredited agents?
Yes, I know that the accountants are accredited agents. They are chartered secretaries who are not lawyers.
Oh,
you understand? So yeah, you don't need a lawyer necessarily to register a business. Anybody can register a business name.
Then what of a limited liability company?
Limited liability. It's not advisable to do it without a lawyer. That's all I want to tell you.
Is it possible? It may not be advisable, but is it possible? Because some of us will want to try it out. Who knows? We may just be able to do it. So it may not be advisable, but do you think it's possible?
You first have to be accredited.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you pay money. I am accredited.
Okay.
I paid for it.
Okay.
Pay money and they'll give you like an identity number that you use for all your registrations.
Okay.
So yes, you can
So
actually
walk us through the processes. So by processes, I mean, what documents do you need to do both the business name and to do the limited liability?
Okay, so for business name, I was already talking about that. So the name has been reserved.
Yeah.
There's a form, a registration form, which will pop up. You need to fill that form. Basically, all you need to do is the details of the proprietor. If it's just you, all you need your name, your email address, where you live. Where you live means there are people who, in fact, in this age, a lot of people's offices is in their house.
Yeah.
So you
remote
put
work.
Remote work. So you put the address, put your email, the nature of business, very important.
Okay.
You have to be able to describe what you're selling or the services you're rendering.
Offering.
Yeah. So you do that.
Then for a limited liability company.
Okay. Can we not take it?
Okay, please.
So after that, you upload their document, you upload your ID. Very important, like your driver's license or whatever, an ID, passport you get. You just upload all those stuffs. Scan it, your signature is very important. You put it up there, and then you can register a business name within a day. Yes, you can get it done within a day. And at the end of the day, what you have is a business BN. It's called a business name, a business number. That's what you have for a business registration.
Yeah.
So that's basically for that. And then the registration fee is about 10,000. Then you add stamp duty. So you'll be spending close to, say, 15.
To register a business name. Okay,
yes.
fine. Yeah.
So why it may be a bit costly is because when you need an agent to do it for you, obviously you pay the agent.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I say a lot of people just want to do it there, and it's possible to do it on their
your own. All right, fine.
So that we are done with business name.
Yes, please.
Good. So we go to limited liability company. Like I said, it's more technical because now you're dealing with more than one person. You cannot register a limited liability company with one person.
Okay.
You have to have up to 2 directors.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So you see that there's a lot of collation of information that will be done. Personal details of everybody involved. Their name, their addresses, their emails, what they do, their date of birth, their identification documents, their signatures. Sometimes you even may have directors outside. Just tell them to sign on a plain sheet of paper. You have to scan all those things. So you see that a lot of people it's hard. So they just pay someone to do it.
Okay.
And then the fees, it's almost the same thing. You still need to reserve your name. Make sure it's available, reserve the name. The name is reserved for 60 days. So it means after 60 days, if you've not done anything, if you've not initiated the process, it's taken away from you. You have to start afresh again, pay another money. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you upload all your documents basically on the portal. Everything can be done on the portal. You pay the relevant fees. For a limited liability company, depends on the share capital. So the amount you're going to be paying to the CAC will depend on your share capital.
Okay.
And that's where the work is. A lot of people cannot calculate what the share capital, what each director is bringing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Say you have 5 directors.
Yeah.
Your share capital is 1 million. You're going to have a ratio in which you're sharing that capital. Who is bringing what? So it is the agent's job, whoever is registering, to sit down and calculate that and key it into the system.
Okay.
Before uploading. Then you wait for CAC's response. CAC can reject or accept.
So CAC reserves the right to reject or accept?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
There are times they reject based on certain reasons. Maybe your nature of business is not really clear, or there's a mistake in the details you submitted.
Yeah. So
CAC can reject.
Because I think one of the issues SMEs face is, I may not be a professional in this particular field, but I want to do a business in that particular field. Do I necessarily need to find a professional to work with me, or I can just register even if I'm not a professional?
Well, if you can do it, for example, you want to, I think it's always advisable. I always tell people, if you can afford it, get somebody to help you do it. Because another thing in that registration for the limited liability company is you need to upload your memorandum and articles. That is where like the work is.
Okay.
So that's where you're going to write in details what your business is going to be about.
Okay.
So for us, some of us even need to go and do research. The knowledge I have is in law, but if I'm registering business, say for an aviation company, I need to go and do my research.
Okay.
What an aviation company does. So you write it in details. So a lot of people don't know that and cannot do it. So they now submit it. The CAC rejects it because you have not complied, and they end up spending more money. So it's better to just get someone who knows it and can do it. However, I know that on the CAC portal, there are actually ready-made memorandums and articles for most businesses that you can just adopt and submit with your other documents.
All right, so is there an age limit for one who can register a company or be a director in a company? Because I may want to put my son, my daughter who is in nursery school or primary school. Is there an age limit to that?
Yes, the Company and Allied Matters Act specifies that you have to be 18 or 21, to be able to, register a business, be able to own a business. So your underage daughter or son has to wait till he's 18 to become maybe a director in your company. Yes.
Okay, so as a minor, you can't register and you cannot be a director in any organization, any company at all.
No.
Right, beautiful. Now there's something else that is kind of finding its way in between registering a business or an NGO or something of that sort. People call it social enterprise. Is it the same thing with an NGO? Is it an incorporated trustee? What's the process of registering that?
Social enterprises and non-governmental organizations will be registered as incorporated trustees.
Okay.
So I told you there are levels to these things. So when you talk to us about the kind of thing you want to do, you will now know what to register you as.
Okay.
So a non-governmental organization that is not making profit, you understand, will be registered as an incorporated trustee. The cost is more because the requirements are more.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Requirements for registering an NGO are more. So basically, it's still the same. The name issue is still the same. You must give us, I think this one is, 3 names, yes. 3 names, reserve the name, and the name gets approved. You must also state what your NGO is trying to do, the need is trying to meet in society. Yeah. You must also have the partners, the trustees. They're called trustees.
Yeah.
More than 2. Cannot be less than 2.
Okay.
More than 2. I think 2 to 5 or so, 2 to 7, or even more than 7. So they will all give their details, their IDs, their email, their addresses, what they do, upload all those things. Yeah. And then you need to publicize in 2 national newspapers. So there's so much. You need to publicize in about 2 national newspapers. You're going to have to get it stamped. All of these things, each of these processes, for example, the limited liability company and the NGO will be stamped in court, Federal High Court. Okay. So there are things you will go and pay. They'll stamp it and all of that. So basically, that for the NGO, you're going to spend over 150,000.
Okay, fine. So for the NGOs, the members of the trustee, do they need to be people of a particular standing in the society, or anybody, my friend, I can just bring my friend?
They don't need to have any particular standing. Say, for example, you're trying to maybe create an NGO for looking to people with disabilities. Obviously, you want to do you good to bring people who have experience in that sector. Okay. But obviously, you may want to just chip in one family member. There's no hard and fast rule to it.
So in registering a limited liability company, let's go back to limited liability, is it advisable to have my friends, my family members, my brother, my sister as part of my board of directors? Would you advise that I do that?
The more people you have on your team, the more you will pay.
Oh. So that means I have 3
because
people I
the
pay.
share is going to be larger.
But can I bring my brother and put him there, bring my sister and put... It does not have any effect on my business now or in the future?
Well, the only direct effect that will have is when we start talking about corporate governance.
Yeah.
So in business generally, there's supposed to be a limit to which your family or your very close, people should have a say or control in your business. So yeah, you may want to have maybe one person in your family who has experience in this area, but others they should try to be people who are actually versed in that sector. You get?
Okay.
So because when you're talking about companies, limited liability companies, the essence of corporate governance cannot be wiped away.
Okay, so now you have talked about corporate governance. Let's go into what exactly is corporate governance.
Corporate governance is just how systems should be controlled and managed. So let's bring it down home. We said for limited liability company, you'll be talking about a board of directors.
Yes.
Board of directors are like the agents of the stakeholders. So I have a stake or share in this company.
Okay.
We appoint the board of directors. Corporate governance has a lot to do with who are the members of that board of directors. So this thing you're saying about your family, the corporate governance rules has already stated you cannot have more than 2 family members on a board.
Okay.
Yes. There are rules for all these things. There's corporate governance rules for public companies. There's corporate governance rules for banks, finance institutions. So you need to align with the rules. If not, you'll be sanctioned. You cannot have more than 2 family members on the board. There has to be some sort of internal controls. So all these things matter.
Because I think the worry with having to put all the systems with most SMEs is the rumors we hear sometimes that, so I registered my business, I put the system in place, and one day a certain board told me you cannot run your business again, you have to step aside. We hear those kind of things happen. And I think that in building a company, sometimes some of these SMEs are worried, let me not finish doing all my homework, going through all these processes to set up this company. I bring in a board, and the board one day wakes up and says, it has voted me out. Really. I think these things happen. Don't you think that it's safer not to set up this system so this kind of thing cannot befall you? Really, what's your opinion?
There must always be rules to govern conduct.
Okay.
So my father, for instance, maybe sets up a business or a company and wants to run it according to his whims and caprices. No. There must be somebody who checks him. And that's the essence of the board. That's why you shouldn't be bringing your friends to the party. No. People that can stand up to you and say, oh, you're not going to be spending like this. We have people who we need to give account to, who are the stakeholders. Yeah. People are investing, putting their money. You cannot afford to spend it like that. So that's the essence, basically, of these checks and balances.
But I shouldn't SMEs be worried at the point of allocation of shares to these members of the board? That's at the point of registration, where I am the person going through all the process of registering, and this person is just there, and I allocated shares to him. And tomorrow he expects to get all the benefits when he has really not contributed anything. I maybe just put his name because the rule says I need to have 2 people or I need to have 3 people. Shouldn't we have that fear? That,
course,
well, this person can do anything any day.
At the end of the day, directors are human beings. And that is the essence of having, you need to have proper documentations in place when setting up business. So you need to have like memorandums of understanding, agreements where things are written out in plain. That's why I keep saying, don't bring your friends to the party, because it's easy for you to tell your friends off. But if you're bringing a neutral party that you know that this person, you're not afraid to tell him no. So you can actually state out what each, individual should expect to benefit. What are you bringing to the table? Everybody must be able to spell out that. It's important for businesses to, bring people to the table who can bring something in return. Maybe technical skills, whatever. There must be something somebody is bringing to your business or your company before he or she can be part of your team. You don't just bring anybody because you get. So I think that's the reason why small businesses have issues, SMEs have issues, because we tend to just, you want to put sentiments. So business is not about sentiment. So at the point where you're already accommodating sentiments, you're preparing to fail. Yeah, so you can spell all these things out in the agreement, and everybody knows what they are taking home, what their share is, what they are bringing to the table.
Okay, so another worry with SMEs could be, if I have to put all these corporate governance systems and processes in place, wouldn't that mean that I have to employ people? First, I don't have the funds to bring in somebody who is going to do A, somebody who is going to do B. So it's just me and someone else, and we're running everything. At what point do we need to begin to put all of these systems in place?
Well, money is important in business. In as much as, we know that the main challenge of SMEs is finance.
Yeah.
And that's why we start talking about how they can create funds. You see how small businesses, try to see how they can get grants and all of that. What I just like to say is every small business must be able to have a strategy. From when you kick off, you must have a strategy. Yeah, when you set the pace run, it may not be as you expect. But you cannot be doing business with, maybe you know that your business needs 500,000. And you're the one bringing all the money. Nobody's like your partners, your team members, they are bringing nothing. So it's important for these things to be clarified at the beginning of the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but of course, it takes time. All these things are not magic.
Yeah.
It takes time. You make mistakes, you get up, you brush up yourself, and do the right thing.
Does it mean that if I'm registering a limited liability company, and I have people on my board of directors, so I have 2 people on my board of directors, are they automatically my partners? Or is partnership an entirely different thing from business, from limited liability company?
Partnership, you would need to have a partnership deed.
Okay.
Yes, to ascertain that this is a partnership. Yeah. It's not just they are members of the board of directors. So partnership is different.
So
nowadays, most people don't really do partnership. Just register limited
their
liability.
business and they move along. Now, I think this is one of my final questions to you. Are there certain opportunities I cannot access because my business is not registered? And can I open a bank account for my business even though it is not registered? Or maybe I have reserved the name. Is it possible to get a bank account without having gone through all the process of registration? After all, I've reserved the name already. Yeah,
from experience, no, it's not possible to get a bank account. Every bank you go to open a business account, they'll first ask you for your certificate of incorporation or your BN, which is your business number. Okay. So it's very important for you to do the right thing to be able to. Most of the businesses have successfully registered. Yeah. That is actually the reason why they register, because they need maybe to take loan or something. And the bank they are always asking for that. Okay. Like I said, it still boils down to credibility.
All right. So it's business registration first, then before you begin to talk about things like tax and all of the other things that follow through. Yeah, all right. Can you give us what would be your final word for SMEs in Akwa Ibom State? Tell us anything we need to know.
Anything we need
from your experience, give us a solution to one problem you think we are facing.
Okay. There's no limit to what SMEs can achieve in Akwa Ibom State. Akwa Ibom is a growing economy. Yeah. The frontiers are opening up. The government is doing their best. And I feel that businesses who can actually thrive in this economy, as long as the right things are put in place, so SMEs, business owners, you need to keep putting in the work, because one day it will pay.
Thank you very much, Barrister Iboro Akai, for being a part of the enterprise. And thank you to every SME for tuning into the show. Please continue to tune in and follow us on all our social media handles as will be scrolled down. Thank you very much.
Thank
The
you,
show
Kemfon.
is for SMEs. We are proud SMEs. We employ 70% of the workforce in this country. We contribute 50% to our GDP. So we are proud to be SMEs. And if you have any questions or comments, you can please reach out to us through the social media handles that will be scrolling down. Thank you.